So on a day-to-day basis, I encounter lots of different golfers, whether that be online or people that come through that door on a face-to-face lesson. And the stories are sort of similar but different, you know, generally speaking. Some people want more distance, some people want more accuracy, some people want more consistency, some people just want to draw the ball, some people want to stop slicing the ball, some people want to stop, and you kind of get it, right? And you get all of these different problems. But from my perspective, it's always the same thing. It's basically somebody's inability to be able to control the impact area. And what I mean by this is if I sort of got set up here and my intention was to hit this ball in that direction, what you would notice, and we see it with all professionals, is when we hit the ball, the hands are forward. By the time we get to post impact, you'd have a straight line relationship from the club face to the back of my wrist, to my shoulders, to my lead hip. And that's really known as controlling the low point in the golf swing. And it's a massive thing. And like I say, it's a massive thing that amateur golfers struggle with, because whether somebody hooks the ball, they're generally like this. Whether somebody slices the ball, they're generally like this. Whether somebody lacking distance, they're generally like, whatever it might be, you would normally lend yourself to kind of going, that person, even if they're making alterations in the backswing, they are still hitting the golf ball with a flipping motion. And generally the culprit is the backswing position. Okay, and I've been talking about this recently on the channel. So what I tend to see with a lot of golfers is that the hands get too close to the body in the backswing. This creates a casting motion in the start of the downswing, and this means that the hands end up working too wide in the late downswing and then end up working too close to you in the through swing. And that's where your problems are going to arise to. So the drill that I wanted to basically talk about that I think can fix a lot of this stuff is something that you can basically just do at home as well. And it's just a real simple exercise in terms of where you're trying to locate your hands in the early backswing into the early downswing position, or early through swing position. So there's a couple of things. We go back to this impact position. Ultimately, what we're trying to do is, as I said earlier, is make sure that my hands are in front of my chest. Okay, now the difference with somebody who tends to scoop is that you kind of see the hands get a little bit more stuck and you look a little bit more this way. So what you're trying to do in the backswing position is keep your hands in front of your chest. So if I take away the club here, so we avoid confusion, I take the club back, I take my imaginary club back now to left arm horizontal, which is here. What we're looking to do is consider the way that my hands are staying in front of my chest at this stage. Okay, so where we don't want to be is where my hands are behind my chest, like this. Because if my hands are here, and as I sort of start the downswing, I start rotating, even if I manage to get my arms now out in front of me, it's going to throw them in the wrong direction. So what will happen is your arms will drop down and they'll get stuck. So that's the first thing we need to do. And in the through swing position, it's the same sort of thing. You want to feel like your arms stay in front of your chest in that through swing position. What we don't want to do is sort of saturate them and get them stuck towards the side of you, because then again, you're just operating in that sort of scoopy capacity. So that's the first thing you'd want to do. You just want to build a bit of awareness of literally straight armed. Take the club to the side of the body like so, to the side of the body like so. Take your hands to the side of your body, to the side of your body. And you could actually just practice this at home against the wall like so. I'll flip around in a moment, where I swing back and I just literally like so. So my arms don't hit the wall, my arms don't hit the wall. So now if I drew a line in here to represent that wall, what I'm basically saying is my arms don't smash into the wall like so. My arms here and then here. So if I swing through, flip the wall around, here. Okay, so that's the first thing. But what you also need to do is you need to know loosely how to control the club face as well. And the club face will be influenced by grip, but it'll also be influenced by your forearm rotation. And obviously what you've got to bear in mind is for most golfers who scoop, what you're really doing is you're hitting it with an open face. So whether you're hooking it and the club face is closed at impact, it's still because of the flicky motion. So when you start doing things like keeping your hands more in front of you, okay, so instead of doing like this, if you keep your hands more in front of you, what you'll find is that the face will actually have a tendency more to open. So that's why you now need to start thinking about your forearm rotation. The easiest way to do this is just lead hand only. Just take half the grip, okay? So what I'm now going to do is, you could literally do this at home. I'm just going to put an imaginary line here to represent my target line. So that's basically the line where I'll be swinging. And in the backswing position, when I swing back, can you see the way, again, I'm just practicing keeping my hands in front of my chest, but can you now see I'm pointing the shaft down towards my line? And then as I swing through, I keep it pointing to my line. And then as I go into this through swing here, my hands again are in front of my chest, and this is pointing down to the line. So if I do it from the side on, just flip that target line round. So it's here, and then here. And I think this is the surprising thing. Now, like I say, if you're somebody who grips it stronger, you won't need as much forearm rotation as this, but you'll still need to close the club. And I would say, you know, I am seeing more people grip it stronger, but you're always going to need a bit of forearm rotation. But the priority really is to make sure that you're applying width, keeping those hands in front of you in the backswing position. And then, like I say, from this position, you can then release that club. And when I get students to start doing that, so it looks something like so, you know, what you'll generally notice, obviously it's a shorter swing, but they'll just look much more in control of what they're trying to do, as opposed to somebody who kind of goes this way and yanks it around this way, or somebody goes this way and then just trying to, do you see what I mean? It's just like they have more comprehension of, right, my hands are trying to stay in front of my chest, and I'm reliant more on my arm rotation to control where that club face is going. And that's why I'd seriously suggest it's an exercise that you want to be considering, particularly if you're sort of falling into that category of you feel like you're capable of hitting every bad shot in golf. If you just start to give yourself that continuity of keeping your hands in front of your body, you're generally going to find much more consistency than letting your arms get stuck to the side of you. Let me know how you get on.